Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Wednesday, July 19th, 2023. I want to jump on and talk about, as a continuation, this issue with the AT&T stock. Posted a day or so ago, I don't remember, but I think it was Monday or something, this week, last 24, 48 hours, about how my AT&T stock got absolutely demolished on Friday the 14th and Monday the 17th, kind of flattened out on Tuesday, if I recall correctly. And then today the stock absolutely exploded, 8.5% or something like that, 8.25%. I mean, it was one of the biggest movers of the day. I think it might have been like in the top 3 or 5 or whatever. I think Carvana is really moving a lot today. But anyway, don't really mean to get wrapped up in this minutia, this granularity about the stock market. Stock market's not even really my thing. I'm much more enamored with real estate as an investment. But I just recently came around to a degree of guilt about just sitting back and waiting for real estate to crash and not putting money to work in this inflationary environment. So I opened the stock portfolio and got that going back in June, and AT&T was one of my initial purchases because of its high dividend and the fact it's been around for 140 years and all this stuff. And then, last few days it had gotten crushed. And then, like I said, bounced pretty high today. The moral of the story here, guys, is I don't care either way. I don't care about what happened on Friday and Monday. I think I already documented that in a Facebook Live a couple days ago. And I don't care that it went up 8.5% today. On balance, I care that the company is performing, is, steadily either maintaining or growing healthier over time, and that the company maintains its dividend. And I'm inspired by a book that I know I've mentioned at least once here on the lives, by Benjamin Graham, The Intelligent Investor. Read the 2003 version with Jason Zweig's commentary in it. Definitely recommend it if you have any inkling about the stock market or wanting to be involved in that or whatever. But anyway, Benjamin Graham had a chapter in there about how he was chagrined that stock investors didn't consider themselves business investors, like business owners. They didn't pay attention to the operation or the health or the metrics surrounding the business. They just got obsessed with stock price and stock movement and appreciation in stock price and stuff like that. They kind of forgot that they were business owners. And it's a great chapter. I'm underselling it. You got to read it to understand what I'm talking about. But it's something that I really kind of have internalized as this AT&T drama unfolded the last few days. I view myself as an owner in the business of AT&T. It's long-term prospects. And the fact that, hey, if it's been around 140 years, it'll probably be around another 140. I actually tweeted about that today, about the Lindy effect, which I learned from Nassim Taleb. But anyway, guys, so I think that's really the crux of the message here about AT&T and these last few days. Isn't about the exact movement, isn't about any kind of I told you so. I'm sure AT&T stock is going to go down a lot again here in the near term. I have come to realize over these last few days that AT&T's balance sheet isn't as strong as I would have liked. I was a little bit ignorant of that fact going into the buy. I did not analyze its financials as well as I thought I had. While I looked at some numbers and I thought I was looking at them correctly, I missed certain things, some obvious big things about the amount of debt that AT&T had on its balance sheet and the amount of cash flow that it had diverted to its dividend, even though it could be using that cash flow to pay down debt. Things like that, like big things that, guys like Warren Buffett and Benjamin Graham would absolutely have paid attention to, and I completely missed. So there's that, right? And that's something that's more important to me, the fact that I missed that and the fact that I wasn't as clued in on those things as I could have been. To me, that's the lesson learned. To me, that's the area that needs to be fixed and needs to be shored up if I'm going to continue to grow this portfolio over the next 2, 3, 4 decades. But these short-term price movements, they don't mesmerize me either way, as much as maybe the next investor or trader would be mesmerized by. I think, I saw some postings. One of the guys I really enjoy following, Wall Street Trapper, A couple people in his comments talking about how AT&T was a dog shit stock. He told people to sell it when it was at 20, and now it's an I told you so at 13, and I get it. Like, he's the one, Wall Street Trapper is the one that turned me on to the whole balance sheet issue. So really appreciate the learnings that came from following him, and that I was able to sort of capitalize on by educating myself. So all respect to him and the other individuals who were kind of echoing this sentiment or had already expressed this sentiment previously, but the loudness and the noise surrounding those big drops, 4% on Friday the 14th, 7% on Monday the 17th, I kind of knew as it was unfolding that it wasn't going to bother me, like it might have the last time I was invested in the stock market back in 2015. And to me, that was the major test that I passed, that when those price movements occurred, when the bounce back occurred today, I noticed them because I'm trying to make it a habit to keep an eye on my portfolio and really professionalize my investing and my financial management. That's a whole other theme and a whole other story. But I wasn't worried about selling anything. I wasn't worried about taking any profits. I wasn't panicking. I kind of laughed it off. I kind of thought of it like, hey, this is the very thing that would have bothered me, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And today I could care less about. And I proved that by just holding steady, adding to my position where I could. I actually bought shares on Friday the 14th and a tiny little bit on Monday the 17th. Unfortunately, I didn't have more cash than I had to do anything more than that. But to me, that was the big test. Did it bother me that AT&T was moving so much? Did it upset me? Did it panic me? Did it create any kind of issue for me? And the answer was no, it didn't. And so I was happy I added to the position. That helped today when the stock bounced and I had those extra shares in there. But the whole theme that I took from Benjamin Graham, and I will absolutely explore this in separate postings, it's just worth mentioning now, is that if anything, for me at least, Graham's book had nothing to do with analyzing stocks, analyzing price movements, reading balance sheets. I mean, there's elements of that go to the value investing method, but the takeaway from Graham was about human behavior. And it was about monitoring and regulating your own behavior. And the behavior test was the big test that I feel I passed these last few days, because the crashing days and the up days netted out to zero sentiment on my part. They didn't affect me. They didn't create any short-term movements. They didn't create any regret in buying the stock, other than the lesson learned of, okay, I think I got a little better now at looking at a balance sheet with this AT&T lesson. But other than that, no effect whatsoever, no issue whatsoever. So anyway, guys, I wanted to give you guys an update on that. I know I've been really focused on this stock stuff lately. It's really because that's where the action has been for me. I haven't really taken a hard look at any real estate or done anything else besides that. I will have some videos coming out very soon on some other things regarding the stock portfolio I have, but totally more on the administrative side in terms of a business brokerage account. I got to update you guys on that. And then also very seriously looking at whole life insurance policy to augment the term life policy that I have, and using that whole life policy to attach some riders to it, long-term care, disability, stuff like that. So really digging into that, finally getting my sleeves rolled up on that, and I'll have more to say on that subject as I learn more about it and move the ball down the field. So hope everybody has a great Wednesday night. We'll talk to you guys real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.